Okay, we'll go to Stefan first, and then we'll go to Andy.
Coach, I saw you guys huddle up there at midcourt following the game. I guess what was the message there after the game, and what was it like, I guess, getting to coach this team for the first time in action?
Every day gets a little bit better, just in terms of how we're practicing, how we're communicating, what our intent is as a coaching staff, what their intent is as players. And so we always want to huddle up in that center circle and give one final message. I don't know if there was anything spectacular to it other than it's a start. And then win or lose, we're going to put our hands in together and we're going to say together we attack. And they had some family and friends around, and I wanted them to be able to go out and talk to them and enjoy themselves without having to go to a locker room and wait for 20 minutes for a coach to yell at them.
Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Doug, especially in a small ball lineup, how would you kind of evaluate the transition game? And I guess how important will that speed and transition be as the season kind of comes around?
I think it's crucial, to be honest with you, and it's not going to be a traditional 1955 Dean Smith, North Carolina break where you're reversing it through a trail and sealing across and back screening and doing all that fun stuff that was when you have two bigs. But it's more of a bust-out type team. And so we do obviously have a primary handler in Maya Taylor and Annie, and they're great point guards. But we also have two other bust-out dribblers that can lead a break. And so in Riki Jackson and Jerkayla, they're really good at making decisions. So that floor gets spaced in a different way, and a lot of people like to get two back in their conversion defense. And so you're trying to figure out who your matchup is, who's the ball, and there's a different person bringing the ball up, off of these offensive rebounds. And we just need to space quicker and earlier to maximize the amount of space that we're going to have within a possession.
You can go ahead, Robbie.
Hey, Coach. Deonna Carter got in there and got a lot of minutes tonight and just looked really effective on the defensive end. Such a long, athletic player, and it looked like she was really disruptive out there and comfortable, too, for the most part. How did you assess how she kind of carried herself on both ends tonight in her first real college game?
Yeah, I thought she was outstanding for where she is today. And I thought she did a really good job in our scrimmage that we had last week. And she has some versatility because she can guard some bigger people that we need, but she also has the quickness to guard some of the smaller drivers perhaps in this league. So she can play a post player and then also the perimeter players. And I think we are definitely going to need to develop her along the season, but she is a nice surprise. And you never know when the lights come on. Some players get a little bit slower. They start to think too much. They put too much weights on their shoulders and weighs them down. And she's just the opposite. She gets a little bit quicker. She's a great practice player, but when the lights go on, she just has a little extra burst, and she doesn't get phased.
If I can follow up just on the game itself and what you saw, just you haven't had a chance to watch the film or anything like that, but just from what you saw from the bench, you haven't had a whole lot of time with this team so far in preparation for these ball games. But were you pleased with how you put in the game plan, how they were able to come out there and execute it?
Yes, I was, and again we keep things pretty simple. So it was definitely more about us than our opponent, and the things that we cared about. I thought we won the games within a game. An assist to turnover ratio, hitting some open men, spacing the floor, and then defensively, which we've struggled in the last couple of weeks. In the last 3 days, we've made some gains, and so we really wanted to make sure that we had some carryover on that. And I thought with that first unit and a half, they did a really good job of sitting down and defending and not doing anything crazy, not fouling, but being disruptive and playing some sound basketball.
All right, Theo, you want to go ahead?
Sure, Coach. Rikia, with the big game that she had tonight, what do you think about her performance tonight, and what can she do for this team all season?
Yeah, well, there's no surprise. She's going to be a focal point not only for us, but for everybody else's defense. So the last thing that we want to do is have her just isolated offensively in a particular spot. We have to be able to move her around and play off of other people, and she is such a weapon. And where I think that, and I don't even know if you saw it quite tonight, where her game has developed so much is as a physical poster. She gets to where she wants to go. She can get to the front of the rim. If you want to take that away, she's going to dribble drop. She has worked extremely hard on her inside-out threes, and she is sticking those at a very good rate. And even if it doesn't go in, she's not bothered. She knows she's put the work in, and that they're right shots. And so, yeah, she's very valuable. And the nice thing is that we have some guards that know how to play this game of basketball, so we can spread it, we can move her around, so you can't just isolate. It'll be hard defensively just to pick on her and put two people on her and a man and a half.
All right, we've got time for a couple more. We'll go to Stefan, and then we'll finish it up with Andy. Stefan, go ahead.
Doug, it seems like the guards were pretty involved in terms of rebounding. I'm assuming you'd want that with a smaller team. And how do you, I guess, balance, trying to get them in there for the boards, but also, wanting to push and transition as well?
Well, I mean, I would be excited about rebounding too if the coach told me I could just bust out and get that dribble and go get a layup. And so they're pretty quick. They have a nose for the ball, and so they can rebound out of their area, which is crucial because it's no secret we're small. We're very small. And so if you're going to be that, you need to be a little bit disruptive, but you have to run down those loose balls. We're going to lose some of the battles just because of height, and we have to keep that close, but we just have to be incredibly scrappy to run those balls down. And then if they get it and they have some space, they want to be able to push that thing ahead, and we can get a transition game going.
Hey, Doug.
And we'll finish it up.
Yeah, you mentioned Rikia's versatility. I guess how much confidence do you have in her ability to kind of be, I guess, the de facto five, if we want to call it, in like a four-guard set? I mean, is that something you expect to run kind of pretty frequently with her?
Well, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, she's one of our best post-up players. We have a couple small guards that are incredibly, are really growing as post-up players for inside-out. I don't know how this team's going to grow. And again, we've kind of formed some borders in there of how we want to play, how we want to pass the ball, maybe how we want to create space. But as the pieces keep on growing and developing, there's going to be some things out there that I never thought we could do. We just got to keep watching and developing and get them to their best most often. So there'll be some times where Rikia will be a, quote, five. It'll look like she's a five, but, really everybody posts, everybody shoots threes, and everybody tries to get to their best most often to bring out the best in others.
Thanks, Coach. That'll be it. Guys,
Thank you.
we'll have players in here for you soon.
Thank you.
Hey, today, your kind of first college action tonight in a game. How'd you kind of feel out there, and what do you think worked for you?
It was a really great atmosphere. Our team picked each other up, and I think from that energy that they put out onto us, it kind of helped me flow in the third quarter. And it was just really fun to be aggressive and get some boards.
All right, Theo, you're up.
Danae, the four players behind Rikia who scored the most are all newcomers. What does that say about this team that you guys are all kind of new and building this together?
It shows that we're all in this together, really, that we have a lot of pieces, and I think that we all have a lot to showcase. It's really fun because as we mix up the lineups, you can still see that our offense is going to flow, our defense is going to flow.
All right, now we'll go to Robbie and then swing back to Andy. Robbie, go ahead.
Danae, you're a freshman, but didn't look like a freshman a lot tonight. Like you mentioned, you were aggressive out there. You got aggressive in the lanes too, and had a couple of steals and drives and scores. Just how did you assess how you were able to play in your first I guess, real game college basketball?
It really was about just staying into it, staying focused. Coach Doug talks a lot about consistency and start from finish. So just being aggressive on both ends of the floor really helped.
All right, Andy, go for it. Anybody else got questions? Cue them up.
How do you view yourself as a player in terms of versatility? I mean, where do you see yourself able to kind of slot in on this team?
I think I do a really good job of rebounding. So right now it's just being aggressive on the boards, getting the glass, getting us extra possessions, and stretching out to the floor. I can see myself really as a driver, finishing around the rim, getting like offensive rebounds, doing putbacks.
All right, we'll go back to Theo. Theo, go ahead.
Danae, what did you think of Rikia Jackson tonight, and what can you learn from her here as a freshman?
She's a really big role model for me. I've watched her since she's been here. I've watched her in high school. I love her game, and she gives off great energy, and we all feed off of it. So.
All right, and we'll go to Robbie Falk to round us out, or we'll go to Robbie Falk and then Andy Costa to round us out.
Danae, I'm just interested in your thoughts on what the last month or so has been like for you and for the rest of your team. You were recruited by Nikki, and all of a sudden she leaves the team for health reasons, and you have a brand new coach, and this coach just came in a month or two ago. What's going through your mind right now, and especially a couple of weeks ago when this news first came out?
There have been many changes, but I think as a team we have to stay connected really. So we're building our foundation off of each other right now, and just staying focused. And I think we have a lot to prove this year, so that's why we're going as hard as we can.
Go ahead, Andy.
You mentioned kind of the energy from your teammates. Is there anything anyone said to you kind of before this first game or during it that kind of pumped you up or got you excited?
I think it was really just like the first experience in the hump, kind of just that energy itself, like seeing the people, even though like it was a great crowd. And then throughout our warm up, like, we cheer each other on, we pick each other up. Like, it's a great team effort. So like, we'll bounce off of each other no matter what.
All right, thanks, Danae. That'll be it.
Thank you.
Hey, Aislinn, good to talk to you. First of all, I'm interested in your thoughts on coming in this game and getting a chance to go out there and actually play with your teammates tonight. It's been kind of tumultuous, I know, for you guys the last few weeks, and tough news with Coach Nikki, but getting a chance to go out there, play with your sister, play with your teammates, what was that like to finally just go out there and just put everything else behind you and play?
Well, first I had fun. I mean, being in the hump, it's just amazing. It's just a great experience being around. We all been working hard, and we've just been playing hard for each other and playing good basketball. So it's been very fun.
All right, next we'll go to Andy. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Aislinn. Just obviously for you as a newcomer, kind of one of a lot of newcomers. How has this past month kind of been bonding together? What have you guys trying to do to kind of stick together when there's a lot of turnover, just in terms of Nikki leaving, stuff like that?
Well, it actually have made us a lot closer, and we just been working hard for each other, feeding off each other, like just playing for each other really, and playing like for Nikki. I don't think it hurt us anything. I don't think it hurt us. We just been focused and ready to play some basketball and win. So.
All right, Theo, go ahead.
Aislinn, when you have an exhibition like this, what are you trying to work on in your own game?
I guess just grow as a player and just get in the flow of basketball and playing with my new teammates and just learning and playing off them, really.
Okay, we got Stefan, and we got time for maybe one or two more after Stefan. Stefan, go ahead.
And Coach Novak kind of said how important it was for the guards to be, involved in rebounding, with you guys being a bit of a smaller team. And he mentioned kind of just needed to be scrappy and making sure you guys are getting the loose balls. I mean, what's the mentality like as a guard to make sure you're doing that and not taking any plays off and diving for those loose balls?
Mm-hmm. Well, we know we play great defense, and we know if we get a good play and they shoot a shot, and like we just know like we have to rebound because we know the person that was guarding that person, they work so hard, and I feel like as a team, like as a teammate, we should recover and do our job and box out for our teammate. So it's just for my mindset is always box out every time. That's what we do in practice. Is always we're just always boxing out. So
All right, we'll go to Andy to wrap us up. Go ahead, Andy.
You kind of with a small ball lineup, sometimes small team. How much of a focus is there on that transition, the speed in transition, to kind of break out on offense?
well, we know like we have a lot of speed on this team, so it's a good thing. Like we literally once we get a rebound, we can just go up and get a layup that quick. So it's easy. It makes offense a lot easier. So
Okay, thanks, Aislinn.
thank y'all. Bye.